We must be helpers one to another. We must uplift, encourage, support, and comfort our brothers and sisters daily. Hey warriors, and welcome back to Inspirational Cafe. I'm your girl Rochelle. Here is where I uplift, I encourage, and I inspire. Don't forget, hit that like button. Don't forget to share, and come join the cafe where I inspire every single day. Don't forget, subscribe. We must be helpers one to another. We must uplift, encourage, support, and comfort our brothers and sisters daily. The scripture declares in Ecclesiastes 4:10, if either of them should fall, one should lift the other up, but pity on anyone who doesn't have someone there to help them. We must be helpers one to another. God brings unexpected joy and blessings through the people that he places in our lives. Finding comfort and strength by leaning on others shows us that there is hope for healing and joy, even in our most difficult and darkest times. God is our comfort, even in moments of struggles, of pain and suffering and hurt and difficulty. God comforts us even when we feel like God has forgotten all about us. We all remember the story of Naomi. We're all familiar with her story. Remember when Naomi had tragically lost her husband and her sons. She was forced to move away from her home. She lost everything. Naomi's story was quite different and difficult, full of despair, disappointment. She was discouraged. And even though she suffered great loss through her family, losing her family and a lot of her possessions, Naomi could have easily been broken and felt bitter, because that's normal. Who would not feel broken and bitter after losing your loved ones, after having to move away from your home, leaving everything that you know behind? She could have easily been broken and bitter. But God had another story. She started out with one story, but God changed the chapters. He changed the chapters of Naomi's life. Naomi's life changed drastically through the help of her daughter-in-law, Ruth. Her life changed drastically through the help of her daughter-in-law, Ruth, and her grandson, Obed. Because Ruth never left. She never left Naomi's side. She was loyal. And she never left her. She was determined to help her mother-in-law. She never left her side. And Naomi's life changed for the better through her grandson, Obed. Obed was an ancestor of King David. So even after losing everything, losing her family, her sons, her husband, leaving her home, being uprooted, God had a different plan. The orchestrator, the author and the finisher had a different plan for Naomi. Yes, I can imagine many moments of feeling discouraged, full of despair, disappointed. But even after going through such an ordeal, Naomi's life changed. She was now hopeful. She moved from helpless to hopeful. And then she started to be happy again because there were helpers. There were helpers there with her to pray with her, to encourage her, to build her up. God declares that we must be helpers one to another. And yes, Naomi faced great troubles and trials, but God had a different plan. In the beginning, she couldn't understand losing so much, but God gave her, He granted her with even more. And God declares that we must be helpers one to another. When we see our brothers and sisters falling, we must be there to lift them up. We must pray and encourage, build up our brothers and sisters. Be a helper to those that need us. We must uplift, encourage, and pray for one another. The scripture declares, if one has fallen, we must give that one a lifting hand. But pity on anyone who doesn't have someone there to encourage, to pray, to uplift, to be a comfort of support when we need them the most. We must encourage our brothers and sisters. We must be helpers one to another. We must love on one another and encourage, build each other up, because we all fall short. We all go through challenges and struggles, many obstacles. But God declares pity on any one of us who doesn't have someone to give us a comforting word, to inspire us, to build us up when we need it the most. We must be helpers one to another. And I just want to encourage someone on today. Be a helper to your brother and sister. Give your brother and sister a lifting hand. Pray for your brother and sister. Encourage those who you know need a word, an encouraging word from you. Because God declares that we must be helpers one to another. We must uplift each other. We must support and not try to tear down, but build up our brothers and sisters. Pray and encourage each other in the Lord.